It's my audience. I'd first like to show you a video, two brief videos from YouTube demonstrating part of my speech.
Police return out. Their responsibility is a whole scene, so they're going to look over us and make sure that we're safe being able to carry out the tasks that we need to do.
This is the second video. What did these two accidents have in common besides the loss of life? The first accident shown involving pedestrians was an alcohol-related accident. The second was an accident involving texting and driving. Some may say that these two things have nothing in common and are completely unrelated, but a study done by Car and Driver magazine in 2009 compared the driver reaction time of a person driving under the influence compared to a person texting and driving. As it turns out, sending a text message adds 70 feet to your drive before you hit the brake, the most distance out of all four of the scenarios. Let me explain. This means that your car would actually stop 70 feet further than where it should stop. In an emergency situation, this would not be a good thing. According to the Governor's Highway Safety Association, on average, someone is killed by a drunk driver every 45 minutes. Distraction from cell phone use while driving, handheld or hands-free, extends a driver's reaction time as much as having an alcohol concentration of the legal limit of 0.8%. According to the Department of Transportation, there are three forms of distracted driving. Taking one's eyes off the road, which would be visual, taking one's hands off the steering wheel, which would be manual, or taking one's attention off driving, which would be cognitive. All of these create a great risk of injury and death while driving. Texting while driving involves all three, but the question is should the use of cell phones while driving be completely banned? Let's explore. Research by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration found that nearly 6,000 people died in crashes involving distracted drivers or inattentive drivers, and more than 500,000 were injured. Both the most frequent offenders are the youngest and the least experienced drivers under the age of 20. However, mothers, businessmen and women, and husbands are to blame as well. In general, people over the age of 18 are just as responsible for texting accidents. For instance, the Boston Globe reported that on December 28, 2007, a Taunton man hit and ran over what he believed to be a mailbox. 30-year-old one, Craig Bigas, told investigators that he did not realize that what he had struck was a boy on a bicycle because he was behind the wheel typing a text message on his cell phone when he lost control of his sports utility vehicle. It was a few hours later when he returned to the scene of the crime that on his way to work that he realized that it was 13-year-old Irman Machado. My heart goes out to the family of young airmen for the loss of their son and for the fact that the man responsible, Craig Bagasse, was sentenced to only 3 years probation and his license was suspended for 10 years. Both socially and legally, drinking and driving is completely unacceptable. Texting, on the other hand, is still in its formative period with respects to laws and opinions. A few jurisdictions have passed ordinances against texting while driving. Many people in society still feel driving while talking or texting on a cell phone is not only a right, but it's a necessity. Some people may feel that they need to use their phone to conduct their business or manage their daily affairs. The families of victims killed in fatal car crashes where cell phones would be involved would probably disagree. One person's need to verify a carpool pickup or schedule an interview, could that really be more precious than life itself? Some may still disagree. Some may have the mentality that it won't happen to me, or another person's tragedy, another person's family tragedy doesn't really affect me. Yet many people take notice when laws and policy affect their own personal pockets. Today I'd like to explore both the aspects of why policy banning texting while driving is imperative. If the tragic examples I have given you today don't persuade you to advocate a ban on texting while driving based on emotion, how about the fact that texting while driving can also be costly in fines as much as $500. More states, including our state of Indiana, work to pass legislation making it illegal to text and drive, just as driving while intoxicated is illegal. According to Indiana.gov, House Bill 1279, which has been cleared by the committee, is a ban on teenage drivers. It's a ban on teenage drivers' use of cell phones and texting devices. This bill went into effect in 2009. Fines of up to $500 cleared the Committee on Public Policy on January 28, 2010. This bill is a wonderful start, but a ban on teenage texting is just that, only a start. According to Indiana.gov, House Bill 1060 would prohibit text messaging and cell phone use by drivers over the age of 18 unless a hands-free accessory is employed. This violation would hold fines of $25 for the first offense, $50 for the second, $100 for the third, and so on. Whereas the Indiana State Bill 111 would make most texting while driving offenses a misdemeanor in the state of Indiana. First offenders would be cited for a Class C misdemeanor, while Class A misdemeanors applies if the violator had an unrelated offense within the past 5 years. If death results while texting and driving, that could be a felony. Another important thing about the cost of texting is and driving is that you might find interesting is police say they may soon have the right to start checking the cell phone records of drivers who are involved in accidents. This is already happening in the UK and is being discussed in the US in context of both hearings on the proposed hang up and drive federal law by the advocacy groups who advocate the cell phone records should be checked after a crash to see whether or not a cell phone was involved, just as they do for alcohol right now. If this law goes into effect during the claims process, your insurance company can check your cell phone communications in the run-up to the accident. If you're found guilty of texting, you have just lost a claim and a heck of a lot of money, all because the text was oh so important. During the past few moments, I've not only given you specific examples of cases where people have lost their lives, I've also given you state laws with impending fines. As mentioned earlier, you may not question the unlawfulness or the devastating effects of drunk driving, so why would you question the same effects of texting? Next time you pick up your phone while driving to answer that text, or may make that text to your husband, your best friend, or a family member, remember that you're not only putting your life at risk, but the lives of others, with devastating emotional and financial consequences. Thank you.